Welcome to Moms of the Loop podcast, hosted by and recorded for St. Louis moms. Grab your laundry basket, kick your feet up for nap time, or head out the door for pickup and spend a little time catching up with your favorite St. Louis moms. Hosted by a fellow St. Louis mom, Rebekah Coast, let's dive into our discussion today. Hello, St. Louis moms. Welcome to Moms of the Loop podcast. So excited to have another episode for you today. I am your host, Rebekah Coast, and I am so excited to be joined today by a lovely St. Louis mom, dear friend of mine, Lauren Cappell. Welcome, Lauren.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yay. And also it's worth noting, Lauren is the social manager, fearless social manager for St. Louis Mom. Has been for, how long has it been?
Almost 3 years.
3 years.
This August.
Flies. Time flies
It
when you're
does.
having fun.
So much fun.
Yes. So our topic today is the idea of moms who are transplants here in St. Louis. We see a lot of these at St. Louis Mom. We get a lot of questions from them. And Lauren is a transplant herself. So I thought this would be a great discussion to have with Lauren.
Perfect. Well, I love sharing why I love St. Louis. And I've always been a St. Louis mom, but I have not always lived here. So yeah, Eric was living here before me, and then he proposed, and I guess I decided that I needed to live here as well. So
yes.
I moved here about 11 years ago, and yeah, we just kind of stayed. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you've grown your family here, right?
Yes. So we have 2 girls. My oldest, Claire, she's 8, and Frances, she will be 6 in June. And yeah, we live in Kirkwood, and we just love it. It's our home.
Yes. And what is home? Like, what is your, where were you born? Where were you born and raised?
So I am from San Diego, and I lived there until I was about 29, till I moved here.
Wow.
And Eric is also not from St. Louis. He is from Charleston. And so we do not have any family here. We are our family here.
Yes. You built your village here.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. So before we dive in and talk about transplant culture, I have a couple questions for you. Okay. I want to talk about STL favorites. So what is your favorite STL restaurant to go to? Favorite coffee shop? Place to go with kids? Place to go with friends?
Oh gosh, you're going to make me pick.
Well, I know. There are so many. This is so hard.
We like to eat out a lot. We like to get out. We like to check out new places. It's hard to choose a favorite, but I would say in the summertime, we love going to Peacemaker.
Yes.
All that Southern food.
Yes.
Lobster rolls, oysters.
Yeah.
Gosh, with the kids, we have a love for 5-star burger in
Oh,
Clayton.
yes. I love some 5-star.
It's so kid friendly. The food is so good. Happy hour prices. You cannot beat them. And
I love that patio too.
The patio.
Patio is great.
Yeah.
Great.
And gosh, STL favorites. We love, it was before Eric moved here. We took a little tour of St. Louis.
Aw.
And we went to Forest Park. And I just remember standing at the top of Art Hill, looking down and being like, oh my gosh, this place exists.
Yes.
And I didn't even know about it. And it just sold me. It was just so beautiful. It was a fall day. And that's some place that we keep coming back to as a family. There's just endless fun. There's so much to do. And my kids love being out in nature, so it's perfect for us.
Yeah. I feel like Forest Park is such a treasure. Like there's so much to do just, if you want to be active and walk and picnic and run but then there's so many things in Forest Park, right? So many attractions, which is pretty awesome.
A free zoo.
Free zoo.
Yeah. Art museums, playgrounds, sledding hills. It's just so beautiful. You just feel like you are in a big city, but you've got this big in the nature playscape. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Also a favorite.
Yes. Such a favorite. Where is your favorite place to go with the girls?
Favorite? I would say Forest Park probably. We just like to get out. We like to explore new areas. We recently went to Kinetic Park out in Darden Prairie, actually.
Yeah.
The girls are really into biking lately. And I had heard about this it's called like a pump track, and it was just super fun. There's just always new things popping up, like, and it's just there's just so much variety here.
Yeah. And I feel like our favorite places change as our kids get older.
Yes.
Right? There are
Yes.
things that they're like our go-tos when they're little.
Yes.
And then it's like we get to discover these new places
Right.
as they get older.
Right.
So,
Right.
very cool.
Yep.
All right. T-Ravs, yay or nay?
Mm.
In the middle.
I'm in the middle.
Take them or leave them.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. What about gooey butter cake?
Oh, yeah. Russell's
best.
on Macklin. The best. I crave that.
Agreed. Are you like a purist, or can it be flavored, or does it just have to be like straight gooey butter cake?
I'm a purist.
Purist?
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Keep it simple.
Emos. Yay or nay?
No. I'm so sorry.
Is that a hard pass?
It is.
Why? Is it the cheese? Is it the thin crust?
I just think it's all of it.
Mm. Yeah.
But I'm happy for anybody that loves it.
Sure. You're
And
here to support.
I'm here to support.
Is there thin crust pizza in California? Is that like the go-to pizza, or?
I don't know if California has a pizza,
Okay.
like what it's known for.
Okay.
We have our Mexican food.
Mexican. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to get to that. I
Okay.
wanted to talk to you
Okay.
about that.
That's
Okay.
important.
Yes, that's a big one. Okay. So, St. Louis culture, what is something you wish you had known about St. Louis culture before moving here that you feel like would have been helpful to know beforehand?
I was thinking about this, and honestly, I think a lot of people say about the St. Louis culture is that it is hard to break in as an outsider.
Mm.
And I'm actually really glad I didn't know that. And a lot of people did tell me that when I first moved here, and I kind of thought like, well, it is going to be what it is because I'm here and I can't change it. So I kind of loved that I was an outsider. And I feel like when, people always ask, where did you go to school? Of course, my initial answer was where I went to college.
Right.
Central California, Cal Poly. No one knew about it. No one
Right.
cared. And so the next question, of course, was, oh, well, then where are you from? And so, they were intrigued. Oh, you're from San Diego.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
Right. Why would you leave San Diego?
Yeah. Why are you here?
Yeah.
And
what do you are glad that you couldn't be placed? Like you're glad that you didn't know it was going to be hard to break in.
Yes. I think if I had known that it was going to be hard to break in, then I would have been a little self-conscious about it. And I really just learned about St. Louis on my own. And I really am glad that I didn't know about that. I just,
Yeah. So Jennedy and I were talking about how we also felt that it was hard to break in, even as natives, St. Louis natives. So did you find it hard to break in?
So when I first moved here, I was just so excited to finally live with my then fiance.
Yeah.
I was just so glad to be living in the same state as him. We had been doing long distance for 3 years, and I really was just happy to move with him. So I didn't really care about what St. Louis was. I didn't even know. I didn't know really much about it.
Yeah.
I came in kind of blindly, and we kind of just got to know the city together.
Yeah.
And that was really fun for us.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't until I became a mom that I knew I needed people around me, that I needed a village.
Yeah.
And that was something that I actually needed to work on and create and build for myself because my family was not here. I didn't have anyone to come and watch my kids so I could go to the dentist.
Right.
Or, birthdays. It's such an ordeal when your family lives out of state that it's just, you just can't do things simply anymore.
Sure.
Yeah. So I learned early on that I needed people around me and I was a better mother when I was outside the house. So it just came naturally for me to go and sign up for swimming classes with my 6-month-old because I didn't know what else to do.
Right.
And I wanted to be around other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I signed up for Gymboree. Did you ever do Gymboree? Do you remember that?
Never done Gymboree. Is it still around?
It's not still around.
It's not, yeah.
But I lived there. I brought both of my girls there, and that's where I started to make friends.
Yeah.
And I found other moms that wanted to be outside and
Yes.
be together.
Yes.
Because motherhood can be lonely.
Right.
And I felt that. And yeah.
Yeah. And it can just be awkward to make mom friends. You're trying to like discern, okay, do you already have a group? Are you already plugged in? Or are you looking to like plug in, and it's like, well, I feel like that's sort of how we start to bond initially with mom friends is like, oh, let's have a play date, you know, and then we kind of like assess, do we get along,
Right,
do
right.
we have like a good vibe? And
That's true. I mean, kids they're so good at that. They kind of just bring people together.
Yes, totally.
And, when you're a mom, you are just yourself. Like there's no time for being anybody else.
Right.
And it's kind of like come as you are. And I think I just love that part about motherhood was just like coming into my own and, feeling like this is who I am. I can't pretend because I have so many other things I need to worry about.
Yes.
So making friends, I don't know. I did not find it that hard.
Okay.
I'll be honest.
Well, that's great.
I
love to hear that.
I'll go up and talk to anyone.
Yeah.
And I'm still that way.
Yeah,
you are. I really did not feel nervous to break in. And if somebody didn't want to be friends with me, that's fine. I mean,
right. The next person will.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what about Midwesterner stereotypes? Because you're from the West Coast. Mm-hmm. So did you find any like cliches, stereotypes about us Midwestern dwellers?
Honestly, you guys are just so nice.
Aw.
Yeah. I really didn't know much about St. Louis. I probably couldn't even tell you where it was on a map.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, but that's fair.
That's embarrassing.
That's fair.
And I was a teacher.
Yeah.
But, I just didn't know. Well, it's the Midwest, it's just kind of like, well, not much is going on there.
Right.
And it really could not be farther from the truth. It's just so much culture here. I love learning about all of the different neighborhoods.
Yes.
Every single neighborhood here is so unique and dynamic, and the people are also unique and dynamic. And I feel like I'm constantly learning more cool, like new places to go. It's just always keeping me on my feet. It's not, no one's the same here. And I just love that.
I love that too. I love that every neighborhood, I feel like I'm always learning something that's like historical. And I'm like, I didn't know that. That's so cool, or.
Yeah.
Really.
It's
kind. Okay. So how would you characterize the culture where you came from? Was it less kindness or?
Yeah, I wouldn't say people are unkind. I would just say they're not as forward in how they are welcoming. I don't know. It's kind of like I always think about the grocery store. When I come here, I'm always chit-chatting with, them. And I just think back in like San Diego, it's just a little bit not like that. Everyone's kind and they're friendly, but it's just warm here. It's just a little bit more open.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe like more reserved on the coast. Like, because I know I felt that with my husband coming from Europe, that they're just more reserved as a people. Right.
Yeah.
And it's harder to make small talk and it's harder to, I think it's a cultural thing. So it could be that too,
Yes.
You kind of stay in your lane and do your thing and
yes.
Yeah.
So, I always tell people that my husband's job brought us here, but it's really like the people that kept us here.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
We need to make a t-shirt of that. Coming to a St. Louis mom event near you.
It's the people.
It's the people.
Yeah.
Love that. So, what is something innate to St. Louis as a whole that someone not from here would be so confused by?
The street names.
The street names.
Just on a very basic level. How to pronounce them.
Oh, right. We've talked about this. Yes. Okay, so what's an example?
Oh, I ruined them all. We have a city in California called Del Mar, and everyone said I'm saying that wrong.
Oh.
How do you say it?
Del Mar?
Del Mar.
Del Mar. Say it again.
Del Mar.
Del Mar. So more Spanish influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Less French.
Less French. But I don't even think Del Mar's French.
No.
I don't think.
It's probably not French.
Yeah, I don't think it's I don't think it's French.
I'm trying to think of like what do you mean by like
something unique to St. Louis.
Oh, people ask you where you went to school.
Yeah.
You have to know they're asking you where you went to high school.
Right.
And the reason they're asking you that is to, I think, to place you.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of, where are you from? What's your story? You know, what's your family like?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also a conversation starter. So a little bit of like, let me place you. Let me try to figure a little bit about like where you come from, who you are.
Yes.
And also topic of conversation.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody would not ask that in San Diego.
No. Maybe where did you go to college?
To college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which sort of stands to reason.
Yeah.
You know, that someone would inquire about like your most recent school.
Yes.
Right? Instead of like
going way back.
High school.
Yeah. But, you know, schools are so different here. There's so many options.
Yes. So there are fewer options where you're.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in public school, and that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much what was available, aside from a few private schools.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't anything like St. Louis where there were just so many options.
So many options. So you talked a little bit about how it hasn't necessarily been hard for you to break in. And it sounds like that's because you didn't have super high expectations, right?
Right.
And that you just kind of had an open mind of, hey, I'm going to make this what it is, right? So what advice would you give to a mom who is finding it hard to break in?
Yes, because I recognize that it's not, you know, that's not everybody's story.
Right.
I would say just sign up for classes, you know, with your kids. You know, say hello to the mom at the park. You just never know who you might make friends with.
Yes. Yep.
Do you ever find that?
Yes, 100%. I met one of my great friends overseas at a baby story time.
Yeah, story time.
Yeah, we met once there, and it was like we were like inseparable for the next like 6 months. And I was so sad to leave, you know.
If you hadn't said hello and started that conversation, you know,
right,
you wouldn't have known that you two could be good friends.
Yes. So piggybacking off of that, how, without your family being here, and you wrote a great blog post on this a couple months ago. Maybe we can link it with the podcast, but about building your village, right? So we're talking about mom friends, but like your whole village, you know, how have you done that, and how much time has that taken?
You know, I feel like it does take time, you know, and it kind of like snowballs, you know, like once you meet this friend, then your circle kind of opens up a little bit more.
Yes.
And then we lived in U City, and then we moved to Kirkwood. So now we have two neighborhoods. We have two, we live on the best street. I just love our neighbors so much. And, you know, your school becomes the village. Your child's speech teacher becomes your village. It's really like your perspective.
Yes.
Because if you think, well, my only village can be my family, then, you know, you just have to remember that there's other opportunities for people to support you.
Yes.
And just think of it that way.
Well, and you've also inspired me because I feel like you've constructed your village from lots of different like groups. Yeah. You know, from lots of different influences, like some that were just for you, some that were for your family, some that were just for your kids, you know, and that's how you've kind of constructed your village, is that you've kind of pieced it all together. It hasn't just been like, okay, school's our village. Right. You know? Right. Or St. Louis mom is my village. Yes. Like you've kind of it inspired me in a lot of ways in how you've pieced together that village. So that maybe is another piece of advice.
But you're also that way too. Yes.
Well, right. We're works in progress. It takes time. Also, it takes time.
It does. It takes time. And you know what? You're not going to you might not meet your best friend at this story time, let's say. But maybe your friend introduces you to a friend. Just be open to the different relationships you can make. And it might seem in, you know, the silliest places. Yeah. But yeah, I would just say, you know, talk to people. Yeah.
Be open. Yeah. And I think give ourselves grace, because I feel like we have so much less relational capital we have less energy
Yes.
to get out there and to like mix and mingle and make friends when we're just trying to survive the day with our kids,
Right.
you know? And I know that's been a struggle for me is like, gosh, I know I need to like push myself. I know I need to like put myself out there and like, you know, but then you're like, man, I've just been giving of
tired.
myself all day. I'm exhausted, you know?
Yes.
So I think there's a lot of grace to be given. So, all right. Last thing I want to talk about, what do you miss the most about your hometown, or what is something you cannot find here?
Oh, well, I cannot find my family here.
Yes.
My sister lives very close to my parents, and she has 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I just miss like Sunday dinners together, you know?
Yeah.
I miss that, of course. Other than that, I miss the ocean. I miss just like endless space.
Yes.
Just when you look out and see the horizon.
Vast.
Yes. And then, of course, Mexican food. I have not been able to find anything that compares here.
Interesting. So what is different? What is different about what the Mexican food that you're finding here and then what you can get in San Diego?
You know, San Diego kind of has its own Mexican food. It's like a California mix. I don't know.
Okay.
It's very greasy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's very greasy. It's not like Tex-Mex.
Okay.
Lots of, I don't know, carne asada. We fry beans.
Okay.
I mean, there's something about the cheese. I don't know what it is.
Maybe
I don't know.
different spices too.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. But when you go to San Diego, and anyone who's listening, this is very important. When you go to San Diego, you need to find a very crusty Mexican restaurant. That's where you go. It needs to almost look like it's falling apart.
Like a drive-through.
It can be drive-through.
Drive-through, okay.
Yeah. Could be like cash only.
Ooh.
It's got to be, that's the ticket.
Like it looks like maybe it didn't like pass its latest inspection.
It has a C.
A C rating. Okay.
That's where you go.
Duly noted.
If you take anything from this podcast.
Look for the sketchy Mexican joint.
Yes.
I love it. Okay. Well, Lauren, this has been so great.
Thank you for having
chatting
me.
And thanks for being on this journey of motherhood together. So.
I'm so grateful for you and for St. Louis Mom.
Yes. St. Louis Mom. Woo. Woo. All right. Thank you, friends, for tuning in. We will catch you on our next episode. See you next time. Thanks for listening to Moms of the Lou. We hope it encouraged you and put a pep in your step and helped you get to know our community a little bit better. Be sure to find us on Instagram, st.louis_mom. You can find us on Facebook, St. Louis Mom. You can find us on our website, www.stlouismom.com. In case nobody else tells you today, you're a great mom and you're doing a great job. Chat with you next time.